it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be talking about my most anticipated releases for fall and winter 2018. How are we here? I don't know. This year literally flew by. Like, I cannot believe how quickly it went. I actually don't even remember the last time I did a most anticipated releases. I believe it was spring. I just never ended up doing one in the summer. I'm sorry, but it was kind of a little bit late for fall, and there's not a lot that comes out in November and December. I actually only have one book on this list for November, so I just decided to combine it and talk about my most anticipated releases for the rest of the year. Now, this is crazy new release season, so there are a lot of books that are coming out because publishers try to get a bunch of books out before Christmas because, I mean, it makes sense. But I am actually super lucky and very happy because I actually already have most of the books for this video. A lot of that is because I went to Book Expo. I have had them for quite a while and I have been able to read hardly any of them because reading slump is real. These are books that are coming out between September and December, but like I said, there is only one for November, so it's really September and October. And we are already in September and halfway through, so I'm already late with this video, so let's not dawdle any further. Let's just get into it. What was that? So the first Tuesday of September was the 4th, and the first new release that came out that day is Two Dark Reigns by Kendare Blake. This is the next installment in the Three Dark Crowns series, which I actually just read the sequel recently, and you will have heard about this on my TBR, which went up on Wednesday, or at least hopefully, because today is Wednesday and I still need to edit it. But I am very excited to read or listen to this book. This is a very brutal fantasy series. So many things happening. You never know what is what. It's filled with twists and turns and what I love in fantasy. Next is Imposters by Scott Westerfeld. This is the latest installment in the Ugly series, which makes me both very nervous and very excited. The Ugly series was one of the first series that I really loved as a kid, and I'm very anxious to revisit this world again, but I'm also so nervous about it because, like, what if I don't like it? I don't know. It's one of those things where I have like an expectation in my head and I'm very nervous that it's not going to live up to that. But that being said, I am excited to revisit this world with all new characters. So this is a spin-off that follows Frey and Raffi, and Frey exists with Raffi because she is actually Raffi's double, so without Raffi, she can't exist. So Frey has been trained to protect her sister at all costs, but she really wants to stand on her own. I think this whole concept is very interesting, and the Uglies world is fascinating, and I'm just very excited to dive back into it, even though I am also nervous. Next is And the Ocean Was Our Sky by Patrick Ness, illustrated by Rowena Kai. This kind of sounds like a twist on Moby Dick because it deals with these whales that have harpoons strapped to their backs and they hunt humans. So it kind of reminds me of Animal Farm a little bit with that allegorical sort of tale. Haha, funny, whale tail, a whale of a tail, boo-doo-doo-boo. What just happened? That was like a malfunction. Moving on. So I'm intrigued to see how the illustrations are going to tie in. I do struggle with graphic novels. I'm not generally a really big fan of them, but this twist on a typical narrative does very much intrigue me, so I'm interested to see how I'll like it. The next new releases came out on September 11th, so the first one is Rule by Ellen Goodlet. This is described as Three Dark Crowns meets Pretty Little Liars meets King Lear, which is such an interesting combo, and it really does sound like that. So in this book, the king is dying and his only heir has been murdered. So these three girls find out that they are his illegitimate children, and they all have to compete to see who gets to be the heir and take his place once he dies. I definitely see the Three Dark Crowns and King Lear vibes, but I'm so interested to see where Pretty Little Liars comes into it. Like, is there gonna be sort of a mystery narrative? I don't really know, but I'm excited to find out. Next is one of the books that I have already read, yay, and that is Wildcard by Marie Lu. So this is the sequel to Warcross, which I really enjoyed, and I will say I didn't quite enjoy Wildcard as much, and I do think I need to reread it. I might listen to the audiobook, hopefully I'll like that a little bit better, but I read it when I was really working on my novel, so I don't know if that's why, but I felt like there was a little bit left to be desired with the storyline, especially with all the things that were built up in Warcross. But like I said, I think I do need to give it a second chance and read it when I'm a little bit less busy and my mind is a little bit less filled with words. The next new releases are coming out on September 18th, so first is Pride by Zoboi. This is a Pride and Prejudice remix by the author of American Street, which I read and very much enjoyed. But this book follows Zuri, who is filled with pride in her Afro-Latino roots, her family, the city of Brooklyn that she lives in. She is just a very prideful person. However, the neighborhood that she lives in is is rapidly gentrifying, and generally, as it says on the back, it's a truth universally acknowledged that when rich people move into the hood where it's a little bit broken and a little bit forgotten, the first thing they want to do is clean it up. So when the wealthy Darcy family moves in across the street, that is exactly what they want to do, and Zuri finds herself fighting to find her place in a changing landscape. Like I said, I do really love this author, and I'm anxious to see what is next for her, especially because I do really love retellings, and this sounds like it's going to be awesome. Next is Escaping from Houdini by Kerri Maniscalco. I got my finished copy very early, which I'm super excited about, but I am waiting for the audiobook to come out because I love the audiobooks for this series. If you guys didn't know, I'm an Audible affiliate, so you can click the link in my description and get 2 free audiobooks when you sign up for a free trial. But this is the 3rd book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, which I love, love, love. It is such a great series, and it is perfect for fall and Halloween time. It has lots of mysteries going on, and it's just a really cool time period to be in, and in this novel they are going to America, so I'm excited to see how that's going to go. That sentence ended very awkwardly, but I don't really feel like repeating myself, so we're just gonna deal with it. The next new releases are coming out on September 25th, so first is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I'm a huge John Green fan, and I always have been, and I am so excited to see what Hank is going to bring to the table. I think he has a really interesting take on things. I love watching the Vlogbrothers, and this sounds like it's going to be a really great novel personally because it deals with a YouTuber, and I think even if you don't do YouTube, reading it might kind of open your eyes to some of the experiences of YouTubers that you don't see behind the scenes. So this follows 23-year-old April May, and she wakes up and finds this like big thing that's called a Carl. So it's like this 10-foot tall transformer thing, and she uploads a video about it, and it ends up going viral. So she finds herself being instantly famous online and not really knowing what to do about it. So this kind of just chronicles her experiences dealing with this unexpected fame, and I'm very excited for it. And like I said, I love the Vlogbrothers, and I'm just very interested to see how Hank Green's writing is going to be. Next is A Blade So Black by L.L. McKinney. This is an Alice in Wonderland retelling that is Alice in Wonderland meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so like very weird combo, but it follows the main character Alice, who fights these dangerous, dark, monstrous creatures in the realms of Wonderland. Her real life in Atlanta really isn't that easy, but when some events cause her to delve deeper into Wonderland than she ever has before, she has to use the knowledge that she has learned in both worlds to keep from losing her head. I love Alice in Wonderland. I don't know if you guys knew that. I know, plot twist, like what? But I'm very excited to read another retelling and hopefully be able to get a recommendations video for Alice retellings to you guys very soon. Next is The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kiersten White. This follows Elizabeth, who is living a pretty difficult life when she meets Victor Frankenstein, and he takes her into her home, and everything seems to be okay, but of course it's not because Frankenstein. I actually read the original Frankenstein last year at Halloween, and I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a very interesting story to analyze and just a really cool read. So I am excited to delve into some more retellings for it this year. Now we are moving into October, and October 2nd is a major day for new releases, let me tell you. So the first book coming out on the 2nd is A Map of Days by Ransom Riggs. This is the 4th installment in the Miss Peregrine series, but this time things are a little bit different. They have gone back to where it started, America, but Jacob isn't alone in America anymore. The Peculiars have followed him there, and they have to navigate the very dangerous scene of American peculiardom, which doesn't really have many rules, so it is just a time. I'm so excited to revisit this world, and this time the finished copy is going to have full color illustrations in here, or not illustrations, but photographs, so I think that's going to be really interesting. These honestly are the creepiest pictures ever, like I can't even, but I do really love this series, and it is perfect for this time of year once again, so I can't wait to read it. Next is Dry by Neil Shusterman and Jared Shusterman, so this is written by a father and son duo, which is amazing. But this is a novel that like I'm gonna struggle with because for some reason I just don't like reading about people being thirsty. It makes me really thirsty. Like right now I'm like I need water, but like even that part in the Hunger Games I'm like oh my god. And this novel is all about a world where there has been a drought and there are just a series of rules that you have to follow, but finally the taps end up running dry and basically chaos ensues because everyone desperately needs water, and of course when this happens the main character's parents go missing, so she's all on her own trying to keep her and her brother alive. So I think I'll probably try this on audiobook and see if I can do it, but like for some reason it just stresses me out a lot, the thought of not having water, and just makes me ridiculously thirsty, so we'll see. But I do really love Neil Shusterman's writing, and I'm interested to see how him and his son are going to collaborate on a novel together. I think that's really cool. Next is The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy by Mackenzie Lee. This is the highly anticipated sequel to The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, but in this novel we are following Felicity Felicity, and I'm so excited because I love her as a character and I loved Gentleman's Guide. This is another really good audiobook, so I might wait for the audiobook to come out for this one, but this is set a year after the events of Gentleman's Guide, and they have returned to England, and Felicity has two goals in mind: avoiding marriage and to become a doctor. But unfortunately, it is at a time where women aren't as equally respected, and it's very difficult for her to find her way in medical school. However, a doctor that Felicity really loves announces that they are looking for research assistants, and she's like, perfect, but the only problem is that this doctor is located in Germany, and she has no way to get there until a mysterious woman offers to pay her way. I feel like this is going to be, once again, a novel filled with twists and turns and all of that stuff, and I'm so excited to read more of Mackenzie Lee's writing. Next is Damsel by Elena K. Arnold. So this is kind of a twist on the typical damsel in distress narrative. There's a rite that every prince must complete when they come of age. They basically have to go and like defeat this dragon, do the whole typical thing, and save this girl. The girl that they save will end up being their bride. So the main character, Amma, wakes in the prince's arms, and she has no knowledge of this, and she's like, what is happening? So she only knows her own story, but she doesn't know that this has been a thing that has been happening forever, until she finds out that not everything is as it seems. Dun dun dun! Like I said, I love when things do a twist on a typical narrative, especially Damsel in Distress. That's one that I love seeing twisted up, so we'll see how this is. My hair is driving me absolutely nuts right now, but next is When We Caught Fire by Anna Godberson. Anna Godberson is the author of the Lux series, which is quite old. I don't remember when it came out exactly, but I read the first book and I liked it. It's kind of like Gossip Girl, you know, kind of socialite scene, but in the Victorian age, I believe. And this seems like it's going to be kind of similar. So this is set against the backdrop of the Great Chicago Fire, and it follows this crazy love triangle. I don't generally like love triangles, but since this one is supposed to be described as like an epic love triangle, I am kind of intrigued. And it is set in Chicago's high society, and I feel like it could be another kind of like Gossip Girl twist sort of thing, so I don't know, we'll see. Next, I have some new releases that are coming out on October 9th. So the first one is, of course, Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zuzak. I haven't read this yet, and I honestly don't want to know what it's about. I want to just kind of go into it. I just know that it's a contemporary, and it is by one of my favorite authors, the author of The Book Thief, which is like one of my favorite books of all time. This is his first novel since The Book Thief, and I'm like eternally nervous and just terrified that I'm not going to like it, which is kind of why I'm not letting myself know what it's about. I just want to go into it and see how it is. I haven't read it yet because it has really tiny font and it's quite big, and I don't want to read it while I'm in a reading slump, so hopefully the slump will be over soon and I will be able to read it because I really love his writing, and I'm really nervous, but I'm really excited. It's a very interesting mix. Next is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I'm really excited to see what this collaboration is going to be like, seeing as the authors are such good friends, and it seems like it's going to be a very interesting contemporary duo because they are really big in the contemporary scene right now. So this is set in New York City, and it deals with two characters who have very different views on things and a meet cute scenario and a kind of will they won't they situation. And you really don't know what's going to happen since Becky and Adam are very unpredictable writers, especially Adam, so we'll see how it ends. Next is Dear Evan Hansen by Val Emmich. This is a novelization of the hit Broadway show, and I really need to listen to the soundtrack and then read this. I'm so excited for it because I know everyone seems to love this show, so fingers crossed that I will too and that I will like the novelization. The next book is coming out on October 16th, and that is A Very Large Expansive Sea by Tahara Mafi. This is another book that I have read and I did really enjoy it. I had a couple of issues with it, but I think overall it does a great job of illustrating the experience of a Muslim teen after 9/11 and the terrible racism that they experienced. There's a reason that this book has been getting so much buzz. Tahara has beautiful writing, and this is a story that is so truthful and honest and heartbreaking, but really beautiful and informative at the same time, and I do recommend that you read it. The next books are coming out on October 23rd, so first we have, of course, Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This is the highly anticipated epic conclusion to the Throne of Glass series, which is finally coming to an end after what feels like forever. I have no clue when I'm going to get the chance to read this because these books take me forever to read, and I don't remember anything that happened in the previous books. Like, it will be like reading them for the first time again. So eventually I will get to it, and I am excited to see how the story is going to end. Very interested. I have no clue what's going to happen. Like, so many things. I don't know. I guess we'll find out soon. Next is The Assassin's Guide to Love and Treason by Virginia Boecker. I'm actually reading this right now when I'm filming this. Hopefully I'll be done it by the time this video goes out. Highly doubtful. But this is set in Elizabethan England, and it follows two characters who end up being star-crossed lovers because Shakespearean references. They also end up being the lead characters in a Shakespearean play that they are going to perform perform in front of Queen Elizabeth herself. This is perfect for Lady Catherine because her father has just been murdered for being a practicing Catholic. However, with him being murdered, Catherine finds out that he had been involved in a plot to assassinate the Queen, and she decides that she is going to uptake that role as revenge for her father's death. She will be close enough to the Queen to hopefully be able to carry out what he wanted to do. I really don't know if that sentence made sense in the end. I kind of got lost a little bit there, but like, I'm gonna hope that it did. And the final release, like I said, is the only one that's coming out in November, and that is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Ngan, and it is coming out November 6th. So this is an Own Voices Asian-inspired fantasy, and it deals with a caste system. It is really interesting. This caste system divides humans and demons, and like half human, half demon. So each year, 8 girls are chosen to be the paper girls for the king, and it is a high honor, but it is also really not an honor at all. But this year, there is a 9th girl chosen, and she is not a paper girl. She's chosen because she captured the king's interest with her golden eyes, and she is not just content to be the king's consort, so she's gonna mix things up a little bit, and I'm very excited to see how. So those are all of the new releases that are coming out for the rest of the year. It is crazy that we are almost at 2019. What even anyways? Let me know which of these new releases you are the most excited for. I really can't wait for all of them. But if you guys wanted to dive down the reading rabbit hole with me and join the Bookland family as a Booklander, then you can click that subscribe button and then click that bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post. I put up new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can also follow me on all of my social media. All of my handles and links and all of that stuff will be down below for you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!